people. We have, before I let me first say who we have, and then you'll see why I'm trying to get so far ahead into the main juice of it all. Of course, we have Dr. Iman Sadri on with us. He is the author of that book you've probably already heard about, Master the Psychology of Weight Loss. But if you haven't already heard about it, people, this is something to where you literally can learn how to, I would say, literally get rid of the extra weight for good. So that's why we're titling this episode Extra Weight Gone for Good, because it literally can be, and I know that you all are like, it's always easy. But no, this is not a diet. This is a whole lifestyle change. And it's not something to where, you have to immediately, no. This is literally a guide, I would say. He tells you what all he went through, but in a way to where it outlines it to where you can do this stuff too, because people, when I tell you, Dr. Iman Sadri, well, first of all, Dr. Sadri, how are you today?
I'm doing very well, Goddess. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for this excellent project, because this is so exciting. Because I know there are some people, especially here in America, when they hear, okay, well, he was 201 pounds and went to 159. But, a lot of Americans are bigger than that, or can be, or, according to because they say they're big boned, so they're like, 201 pounds is nothing. But people forget how what may be easy for you to carry and not put you at a health risk, it may be dangerous for me because I'm shaped differently. I'm a different height. I'm different. So, for anyone who's able to identify that, look, this is not healthy for me. It may be okay for other people, and they may say, it's nothing wrong. But no, I know I need to fix this. This is not good for me. People, Dr. Iman Sadri has a way for you to do it, because when I tell you this man went from 201 pounds to 159 pounds in 18 weeks, lost 41 pounds now, 18 weeks, kept it off for over 2 years. Okay, that's the key, because anybody can drop some weight, especially a lot of weight real quick doing something that they can't sustain. But, of course, we know it's the things that you implement that will help you keep it off, that will help it be able to be sustained over the time period. So, people, this is what you want. You want to be able to get that extra weight off. You want to get it gone for good. Dr. Iman Sadri, in his book, Master the Psychology of Weight Loss, can get it done for you. Head over to Amazon. Any book retailer in the world. This book is out anywhere. Go down to your corner store. Tell them Dr. Iman Sadri, IMAN SADRI. You want the book, Master the Psychology of Weight Loss. They're going to get that book for you. And so let's talk to Dr. Sadri real quick and learn how he actually applied intermittent fasting, cutting out those starches, not dealing with all those, I would say, heavy carb things, the bread, the pasta, the rice, the pizza. But it's still plenty of good stuff, as you all know, because there's plenty of great food out there. And so he's going to tell you. So first of all, Dr. Sadri, what was it that actually was your motivation for your weight loss? How did you realize, okay, that, you personally need to do something despite everybody else being able to be 201 and just okay? But how did you realize, what was your motivation, and how did you accept that challenge? Because we know that's a big part too. So let them know, what was your realization? What was your acceptance?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I stepped on a scale and the weight for me the first time was over 200 pounds, that was the number one trigger, because I was 195 for the longest time. And I know some of your audience, because in America, 41% there's obesity, 72% are overweight. And to have a BMI of above 30 makes somebody obese. So I was actually overweight, not even obese. That's where we're at in this country. A third of the state of Michigan, 1/3 of the population is obese, higher than 30 BMI. So I was approaching that, but I then also at that same day went to the retail store and I put on a large sweater and it was super tight. And I put on the size 36 pants. It was like the button was falling off. And I put on 38. It was kind of getting a little tight. I'm like, wait, what are we doing? What am I doing wrong here? And I was eating 5,000 calories a day. That's number one. I would have a ham, egg, croissant sandwich. For breakfast, massive burger and onion rings or fries. For lunch, and a massive Persian dinner with massive amount of rice. That's for dinner, right? And so, but yeah,
Right, but that
stepping on the
sounds
scale.
like what everybody's eating. So you mean to tell? Never mind. Go ahead.
No. But yeah, that was the motivation. I'm like, no. This is crazy. Like, I was looking like 15 years older than my age was. I was 32, but I looked 50 as an exaggeration, but it's true. And ultimately, but you know, you sustain it and you kind of, you know, we go on a tangent on different subtopics on it. But yeah, that was the motivation. I said, you know what? No. This is crazy. This has got to change. So the first thing I did was eliminate carbs, right? Because I had done it before and I lost 5 pounds in a week, like before going to Vegas. And that, you know, as people may think it's not sustainable, it is sustainable to not have bread. You have an omelet in the morning, you don't need the bread. You have a burrito at lunch, don't have a burrito, have a burrito bowl. They give you pizza at lunch, you scrape off the top of the 4 pizzas, you put it in a bowl, and you eat it with a fork, right? And so that's one of my chapters is how to be a skinny foodie, right? And so you eat a medium-sized meal, middle of the day. Chapter number 1 is you're not missing out, right? That's chapter number 1. Number 2 is the ramifications of overeating are not worth the consequences. Chapter number 3 is no bread, no rice, no pasta, no pizza, because you're not really missing out. Because ultimately, there's so many other food items to eat. You have short, like people don't know about, like, you know, instead of donuts, get dates, right? People I tell all the kids, the dentist of 15 years. You go trick or treating.
Those dates be kicking. Oh.
Yeah. You know, 10 dates versus like a donut. Like, there's sugar, yes, but it's like literally comes from nature. So
yes, and you all are gonna love those Deglignords, baby. Yes. That's
right. But you know, intermittent fasting, really not eating after like 6 p.m. And people, oh, it's impossible. I have like a large family. I got to eat. And I talk about the nuances of that. If you're invited to like a big dinner or a dinner ahead of time, you know, many animals do not eat 3 times a day. You know, breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's a human-made concept. You know, I'm unmarried. I'm 42, and people are like, well, that's because you don't have kids. I'm like, look, no, I tailored her out in a social environment where, you know, you got to, you know, there's a lot of kind of nuances and details, but, you know, I talk about the hidden perks of skipping breakfast and dinner. You can cook for kids. You don't have to eat like a massive dinner of lasagna at 9 p.m. That's unacceptable because I think one of the most important principles is the water balloon effect. I talk about how if you eat late at night, you're going to gain weight the next day. People are like water balloons. If you don't eat, you shred the excess fat. But the most important topic of this, and, you know, I'm getting ahead of myself, but
no, you're good.
We talk about how do you digest yourself to lose weight. So anybody listen, you got any extra fat to digest, to get rid of, digest it by not eating. And it becomes counterintuitive because I see a guy who looks like Barney from Simpsons. You know, buddy of mine, literally, that's what he looks like. And Barney's got a gut stick and he looks 9 months pregnant, and he's got a gut. He's like, I'm starving, and I'm looking at his stomach.
Yeah, but
I'm like,
he's thin. Yeah.
It's like a camel saying, I got to eat, bro. You got a lot of extra humps. You could. That's your dinner right there. Like, your stomach is your dinner, like literally, right? And so that is the key to weight loss, is not eating. If you know, it's impossible. No, then it's a hard. Again, sleep earlier, sleep hungry. And I wrote a book, my children's book. It's about a forgetful mouse who has amnesia trying to win cheese for his orphanage. It's a phenomenal book. Faramouche, the story of the forgetful mouse, and he learns from a blind mouse how to overcome his amnesia. He's like, I'm blind. I have amnesia. That's not as bad as being blind. So a lot of takeaways there, my dear. So
yes.
Yeah. And I you know, adding to that, so, you know, people are not missing out. And so, you know, 'cause I'm living proof and I've sustained it. So the key is no carbs, right? And so,
yes. And I love how you were able to accept that challenge, you know, and your own motivation was accepting your own situation and realizing, you know, that, hey, you know, you didn't overlook that, okay, I'm seeing these changes in me, and not only am I seeing it, but it's even being verified that, no, I need to do something now and take charge of it now. And, of course, your health has been able to benefit from it. And I was going to ask you whether you had any other projects. And so I love that you were able to go ahead and answer that, as well as I was going to ask you about some tips to share And that was perfect too. So that leads me into this part. Because I also hear, because people, number one, for those of you just tuning in, you're listening to Articulation Radio. My name is Goddess Sage, and I am interviewing Dr. Iman Sadri, and we're talking about his book titled Master the Psychology of Weight Loss. And people, again, this is good. You want this, not only for yourself, you know, because we know, first of all, we have to help ourselves before we can even be in a position to help someone else, and especially when we're passing on advice. We already know that most people don't even do what they give out as the great advice. And even when you give them advice for their situation that they've come to you on, they usually don't apply it. So a lot of times it's from our own personal testimonies and our own personal experiences. And so definitely, even whether you need to just lose 5 pounds, whether you need to lose 50, or whether you need to lose 150 pounds, this strategy really is something anybody can use, because as you all know, it's people always say, oh, it's a lifestyle change. And that's why diets don't work, because they're just temporary things to do right now. And when you do something for just a small period, you can only expect that result for a small period. But when you do something over an extended period of time and you've already seen successful results from the beginning, then naturally, you know you're going to keep getting those great results. And that's why putting in strategies like what Dr. Iman Sadri outlines in his Master the Psychology of Weight Loss is perfect, because even as you all know, you already know that you can feel that your body has not even finished burning off the food you've already had for lunch, and someone is asking you out for dinner. And so you have to explain, no, you know, I had a late lunch. I ate at 1:30. You know, I'm not hungry yet. And they're like, well, it's just 5, maybe at 7. It's like, no, I don't want to eat anymore today. You know, no, I'm good. You know, so this will help you understand why your body is communicating to you your truth, and how you can stand on something physical and tangible to show how the scientific method has been applied. And here's someone who they've done it. So you know it's going to work for you. You know it's going to work for whomever else that it can be helpful for. And you all can not only stand in faith, but put in that work that, yes, if you commit to being a good steward of this great vessel that you've been given, that it's going to pay off for you. And you're going to net the results not only health-wise, but also, even physically. You know, you'll be able to look in and see the difference. Be like, yeah, you know, I do look a bit younger. No, I don't. I would say look at myself and be like, ugh, gross, or dog, you know, you're looking tired, or whatever is the case. Because as you know, when you get your body and your health in control, in general, your sleep is going to be better. And as we know, sleep is healing. We know you'll be able to manage stress better. As we know, stress is the number one killer and triggers a lot of things, even affects your ability to be able to lose weight. So he gives you these great keys. And I hear, and now, Dr. Sadri, you know you can hear anything, may or may not be true, but I hear you even have a podcast on top of this book, and you even have, of course, we know that children's book people can grab up as well, but you also, I hear, have a podcast. Is that true? And if so, where can people listen to your podcast about being able to get their weight loss under control and be in their optimal health?
Yes, dear. I actually do. It's called the Dr. Iman Sadri Show. Look it up. It's on Spotify, Apple Music. Spotify is, I think, the best spot to find it in terms of consistency, just because I just like how it's outlined with how the episodes are written out. But Apple Music as well. So, you know, I also have a third book. It's called Why Teeth Are Like Diamonds, and you could look me up on social media, because it talks about conservative dentistry. Our teeth last millions of years. You know, if you're in a 100-mile radius of Southern California, come to Disneyland, you need teeth whitening, you hit me up, SoCalTeethWhiting.com. That's my day job, right? And then there's 71 hours left in the week. People got a day job, 8 hours, they sleep 8 hours, and I got another 71 hours. I do a lot of dental research and forensic dentistry, dental pathology, but I do public speaking on this stuff. But yeah, so the podcast talks about a lot of these nuances and the details of the mastering the psychology. At the drive-through, people know if they want to lose weight that they're supposed to have a salad, not a massive burger. The number one key is to make a decision to lose weight. See, when I stepped on the scale 200 pounds, I said, oh, like, this is crazy. What can I do? The first thing is, okay, eat less. Number one, I'm in control of that. Number two, what else can I do? I'm given this like 4 food options here, or a plate, like a breakfast plate. You got cheese, like you have Persian classic breakfast. You got like cheese and like you got like hard-boiled eggs, and then like you got like a bunch of vegetables, and then there's a basket of bread. Have all the other stuff, just don't have the bread. I go to a Persian restaurant, I say no rice. No, give me all the kebab, give me the stew, the salad, and if you can have a massive dinner, don't like plan to not have a massive breakfast and a massive lunch. Just because you got kids doesn't mean you have to sit there and like the Last Supper and eat with them as much as they eat. No, you can watch them eat, right? Like a lot of animals actually do. They go feeding, and then the animal kids eat. But then these animals are not eating 3 times a day. Morning and night. That's a human-made concept. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's a human-made concept. So and ironically, and if you ask, well, you're a dentist. Well, what does that have to do with weight loss? And I'm like, well,
plenty.
I've been a dentist 15 years. Yeah, 15 years a dentist. I'm like, well, you eat with your mouth. Number 2, I'm a dentist who lost all this weight. And number 3, the first part of saliva is where digestion occurs. But most importantly, periodontal disease is linked to diabetes. And I got people that I know, and they'll tell you they got rid of their medication. That the type 2 diabetics, they had just started medication, and they were able to wean off of it with cutting out carbs. No bread, no rice. Asparagus has carbs. You can have that. Ironically, I drink beer every day, and even people make fun of me. So that's like you want to call it a cheat. That's my cheat thing. But, people say you're drinking your carbs. No, it's only got 15 grams of carbs. Beer is mostly water. And so, but I don't look like Ronaldo yet, and so I haven't cut out the sugar either, so that's the thing. It's like you want to look like Ronaldo. Ronaldo's not having beer, and he's going to cut out the beer, alcohol and the sugar. I haven't cut that out, but I've been able to stay at 159. So I've kind of plateaued.
Yes.
And, and everybody's got to get out of their comfort zone. I've kind of been stuck there to get out of, but, I'm like, well, I'm giving up bread. Let me have my beer, like just light beer, Peroni beer. Anyways, but so it's not like it's a rigorous military thing, because there's other book I've actually written as well. It's called Persian Keto Diet. And these are all found on PersianObserver.com. You can check out my blog. I have a blog as well. I got 2 magazines. Yeah, I do a lot, but this is why I'm not married
about
yet.
that. What's the name of your magazines?
So it goes out of 4,000 homes.
Get all of that.
It's called Persian Observer. I profile Persians in Hollywood. And, I've been to 150 movie premieres, and I've been to the Golden Globes 3 times. I just went this year, Critics' Choice Award. And I'm producing 3 films as well, a dental anthropology book on wisdom teeth, a movie called The Storyteller with Ed Harris. Yeah, and then I made a cartoon series. This is all from Jack Canfield. He said you got to have 101 goals. So my number 1 book recommendation, other than my own books, obviously, if you're not trying to lose weight, Master Psychology Weight Loss. But the best book of all time is The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. I name drop him. He wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. He's phenomenal. He's on The Secret. So that's the best book of all time. Anyways,
and your blog.
you
are
what
they
you eat.
can find your blog.
Yeah, so PersianObserver.com is my website, and I interview Persian Americans in Hollywood, and it's giving me access to a lot of like film events and networking, and you start seeing the same people. You're like, wait a second, I'm gonna you get to a point where stop taking pictures of people on the hanging out people on the red carpet. You're like, well, you can be on the red carpet yourself, because if you create it and it's a business, and that's what we're working on now, like producing content. And I got a TV show I pitched to a couple different networks, and I wrote a memoir. So and I launched the Floss. So I do all these things. I spend like an hour a week on 1 or 2 different all these projects, some of them more. The Garden of Talent.
You guys know you have to head on over to his website. And Dr. Sadri, let them know that website, because they really need people. Y'all got to plug into here, And I know earlier I was like, oh, go to your local bookstore, go to Amazon. No, really, just go to his website. You can get all his books from there, see his podcast, and you can really have that support. Because as we know, anytime we're trying something new, especially when the people around us aren't really, they support you in it, but they are telling you, oh, you ain't got to change and you're doing your thing. You need people who will support your new vision for you. And heading over to Dr. Sadri's website will definitely give you all the various ways. I mean, you have magazines, you have blogs, you got movie premieres, you got all this stuff from a supportive person who knows your journey, because he's made it there. Give them your website again.
Yes, so all this can be found on PersianObserver.com. So like Persian Cat, PERSIAN, PersianObserver.com. It's a conglomeration of all the sites, but specifically for the weight loss, look me up on social media at Dr. Iman Sadri, DrImanSadri. And so, the link to my, my teeth whitening business as well. So if you need teeth whitening within 100 miles, that's my real day job. That's what I do 80 hours a week, in addition to dental consulting. And so, SoCalTeethWhitening.com. And then, if you're in Iowa and you're listening to this and you're trying to lose weight, look up on Amazon my book, Master the Psychology of Weight Loss. So that's the number one place I tell people to go on Amazon.
Yes.
Master the Psychology of Weight Loss. You can get that book. And you type in my name, Iman Sadri, and my books come up. Because
very good.
Yeah, my dear. I appreciate your
Go
listeners.
ahead. I want to let you finish, and then I'm going to post my next question.
No. I'm saying I appreciate you and your listeners and their attention to this
and
conversation.
You as well. And when I tell you all, people, I so appreciate you, Dr. Sadri, and our listeners do too, because he's given us way more time than he had budgeted for. And as you know, I'm still popping out, but I promise you I'm on my last two questions, because I can't help but, I have a dentist here. Not only a dentist, but an expert, a guru. So will you please address to the listeners, because not all are aware of the importance of dental health when it comes to their overall health, and we know that the overall health can impede or assist with your permanent weight loss goals. So will you please just speak to them real quick about the importance of dental health and dental hygiene, and how they really do need to see a dentist, if not regularly, at least once a year, please?
Absolutely, because first of all, I'm known as a tooth whisperer because I'm extremely conservative compared to like most dentists. So I tell people first of all, it's extremely important to brush every day. And you want to get an ultra soft toothbrush. So if you check out my podcast, the Dr. Iman Sadri Show, that's the number 2 episode. It's the best manual toothbrush of all time. It's called a CuraProx. It's on Amazon, $7 each, ultra soft. You want to use that minimum 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes at night. But they teach that when somebody's in kindergarten. And so that's for baby teeth. When people have adult teeth, you want to brush at least 3 minutes minimum. And it's got to be super foaming at the end of 3 minutes, morning and night. Is it hard to do that? Yes. But when you sit 12 minutes of television, it goes by in 10 seconds. You got to put on a YouTube channel or put a timer, ideally 4 minutes. And if somebody has braces, get an electric toothbrush. My main preference in that regard is a Sonicare toothbrush for braces, metal braces. And they got to brush after every meal. And people got to floss after every meal as well. If you have breakfast, you have eggs in the morning, you want to try to floss. And so I created a floss called Lunch Floss. It's going to be at different retailers. That's what we're going to retire off of, hopefully, by God. That's the main thing. If it's not out at some, these places that we've earmarked in the next 20 years, then you know where to find me, dear, because then you have to, we'll talk about that, the ramifications.
Man, I love this man. People,
yeah,
Dr. Iman Sadri, he's like the answer to prayers, like, oh my gosh, people. So, you need to minimize that stress. You want to optimize your dental hygiene, and you want to go ahead and implement and maintain your own intermittent fasting routine, low carb, no bread. Look at how you can streamline and what things you can cut out and how you can implement some of these great tips you've gotten. And my very last question to you, Dr. Sadri, what is there that you've not yet had a chance to share with the listeners of Articulation Radio that you would like to express to them at this time?
So the number one thing is the main takeaway. I tell all the kids that I do public speaking on Boys and Girls Club as well, in these mentorship programs. We tell them, visualize your future self as if you've already achieved it, right? And so that kind of plays into this whole psychology of weight loss as well. You want to have a macro view of it, So you use a vision board. Put your face on a body of somebody you want and act as if you've already achieved it. So you act as if, let's just say you want to have a flatter stomach. You act as if you already have a flat stomach. And then you tell yourself, what would this flat stomach person do? They would not be probably eating this massive burger. They would probably just eat the meat and no fries. They have salad. You make intentful choices. So people, they kind of go with their emotions, but you have to be intentful and be in control of your thoughts. As Oprah says, your thoughts control your feelings. And, life is short, but people say that, but really what that means is 10 years is only 3,600 days. 30 years is only 10,000 days, give or take. So, we only, be around maybe 50,000, 60,000 days from 0 to 105. I got only 24,000 days. That's 60 years, assuming I live in the 105, which was my goal. So every day, make it count. Really, it's a miracle. And the last point, the most important thing is the fact that there's 136 trillion cells, 60 billion cells replicate. So you're changing every day. The fact that somebody stays stagnant, their body is replicating. So you're not a stagnant individual. You're always changing. Your life is a moving reel. It's not a snapshot. So,
so reality is actually stagnation is more intentional than improvement. So people really, you might think that you're doing the easier thing for yourself by staying the same, but really you're putting in harder work by staying the same instead of just allowing yourself to continually improve daily. Interesting. Wow, Dr. Sadri, you're a bad man. And I see, yes, I encourage you to continue all of the different ways that you're guided to put out your not only important, critical, life-saving message, but also the different perspectives that, you're amazing, and I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for having met you. I'm grateful for all the work that you've done, and my God, and definitely for the additional time you've sacrificed here, and even Joaquin's cutting me the eyes. So people, we definitely, Dr. Sadri, whenever you would like to come back here to Articulation Radio for any of your projects, we definitely welcome you. The floor is totally yours. The mic is yours. Our people need you. And we're thankful for your going through and being the guinea pig, for this great direction and being able to prove for a fact, no, it works. And yes, sir, we look forward to you coming on back anytime, and even for that children's book, too. Definitely got to have you back on for that, too. Oh, and people tune into his
Thank
podcast.
You very much. Definitely.
Oh,
yes, the Dr.
welcome.
Iman Sadri Show. Thank you, my dear. Yeah, really appreciate all your time.
And drop for them again your website and where they can get your podcast, the name of your magazines, all that stuff. Give those who were late tuning in, a redrop of all the names and websites and places to go to get all of this good stuff.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so if you're trying to lose weight, go on Amazon right now on your phone and type in Master the Psychology of Weight Loss. But you could check out all this information at PersianObserver.com, like Persian as in the cat, PersianObserver.com. And then if you need teeth whitening, because teeth last millions of years, they don't decompose. That's kind of the subject of my other book, Why Teeth Are Like Diamonds. Teeth, they withstand fire. So, if you need teeth whitening, because we don't want to shave down teeth, SoCalTeethWhitening.com. And then you can look me up on social media at Dr. Iman Sadri and DM me if, SoCal, if we can meet up for in person, if any kind of coaching questions you have regarding the weight loss. Because, let me tell you something. You don't see any obese people in nursing homes, definitely not past 75, pushing it 80, almost never, right? Just like you never see any smokers above age 90, almost an extreme rarity. And so the point is, you want to live, right? People like all the stuff they love in life. Like, I want to go to like Yosemite. I want to go to go see Mount Kilimanjaro. I want to have a Ferrari. I want to whatever, or all the stuff you love annually, like all the maybe traditions. You only have 40 more of those left, 45 tops, 20, maybe 15. But you can say, no, I have 60 left because I'm not going to be obese. I'm going to change what I eat. I'm in control of that. And, I'm going to get my talents out in the world. So, again, thanks for having me on, dear. You're a gem.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Sadri. And people, head on over, grab up all of those wonderful nuggets from Dr. Iman Sadri. And if you're in the South California area, you can always get these not only great nuggets in person, but get you some optimal treatment so that you can be sure you keep done in that beautiful smile and knowing that your body is even healthy on the inside too, because you have great teeth. So yes, hook it on up for yourself. Joaquin, man, we're going to turn it on over to you and let you go ahead and roll some more cuts. Listeners, stay tuned.